Well, g'day guys, I'm here with Gareth from Tall Poppy Productions. Gareth?
How you doing, Fraser?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks for having us on the show.
No worries. Now tell us a bit about yourself. How'd you get started in music production?
Through school, I played violin. Towards the end of high school, kind of got into recording, and it's kind of back in the days when Avid bought out, or DigiDesign bought out their S01 systems for home recording, but I could not afford one. So I had a home PC. With a Teratech card I bought from Harvey Norman for $180. My parents helped me out. So that sort of got me into recording and recording people, recorded bands and friends at high school. From there I did I got into the music technology degree at the Queensland Conservatoire of Music at Griffith University. So I spent 4 years there in training and learning Pro Tools and sound engineering and microphone placements and physics and all the stuff you need to know. Yeah. And then from there, I actually got a job at a company called Music Lab, which I worked at, which we used to sell recording studios. Yeah. So I used to go around to all the television stations and radio stations and pretty much everywhere from Grafton to Cairns, helping out big studios with installing Pro Tools systems and hardware and all those kind of things. I kind of got out of that around 2006. Met Nathan. We had a home studio, or he had a home studio at Kalinga. And we kind of joined and collaborated all of our equipment together and sort of made this hash of Pro Toolsy, Behringer-y kind of gear, and yeah, we kind of grew from there to where we are today. So
tell us a bit more about your gear that you use here.
Yeah, so here in the studio we've got a DDA analog console, which is great for tracking. It used to be a good mixdown console, but we don't use it anymore. We kind of use Pro Tools for that. So we've got a Pro Tools HD system. So from out of the console, we pretty much go straight into Pro Tools. Everything goes into Pro Tools, and we're using plugins for compression, EQ. It certainly gives us the flexibility at a later stage to have to change something. The great thing with the HD system, which the native guys don't get, is that we can actually have plugins in real time while we're tracking that don't affect any latency. So it means that I can stick my Neve Waves plugin on and EQ a kick drum, but there's no latency on the signal. So it's like using outboard gear, but not like we're not committing on the sound to the waveforms, so we can go back and change it any time. Yeah. And that's really important for us because it means that the musician who's tracking gets to hear a quality sound. You know, if you went to a big studio like Blackbird or wherever in America, all those high-end engineers are processing stuff through analog gear to Pro Tools, and where their skill is at is going, okay, that guitar sound, it needs my, it needs the Neve preamp, and then we're going to go into the Millennia EQ, and then we're going to come out of that and we're going to go into the XYZ 1176 compressor, and then we're going to go through these converters, and all of our stuff's committed and printed to Pro Tools. You cannot change it later. Yeah. But it sort of limits your options when you're doing it, and I find that's a good thing. It means that you've committed on your sound. You're making decisions along the way. Where the home thing and the Pro Tools and Logic stuff is done, it's giving you endless options.
And what's the differences between your onboard and inboard sort of gear?
So like the outboard gear versus like a plug-in, like a Pro Tools sort of thing. These days you can read whatever forums and whatever you want that say my Neve preamp's better than whatever preamp, or the real 1176 compressor is so much better than the Waves plug-in version of it, or it's not exactly the same. And the way I think about it is that they're just choices. Like in the software, sure, 1176 probably doesn't sound exactly like a real 1176, but who cares? It still sounds good, sounds like a compressor, you got options, work with what you have. Where I find the real benefit in using outboard gear is with that commitment, so that you can record a guitar sound, you can EQ it and compress it before you get to your DAW, and in your DAW you don't need to use any plugins because you've already tracked it. So you're saving on processing power, you're saving on having to make decisions later, but you're risking messing it up. Yeah. So that's where a guy who's got 50 years experience knows what he's doing is really important.
And sound is quite hard to capture, right? Like the movement of a microphone could change the whole tone of the amp.
Yeah, definitely, of a guitar amp or if you haven't done it before at a home, as a home studio guy, get 457s and put them in 4 different places on a guitar amp, you're going to get 4 totally different tones depending on whether it's straight on the cone or whether it's angled or whether it's what it is. The best advice I can give someone is, before you start recording, know what sound you're chasing. There's no point going into a recording session to not knowing the sort of tones and the sort of sounds that you're getting, and trying to get the creativity off finding the sound is quite difficult and quite challenging. Whereas if you go, okay, I'm looking for that really bitey, bright guitar tone, and then you can move the microphones and change the sounds, trying to find the sound that's in your head.
There is producing and there's engineering. What's the difference between the two?
All right, so the way I kind of explain it to a client when they're here is an engineer is there to do the technical aspects of the recording. So make sure the microphone's in the right place, make sure you've got the right amount of gain in the preamp, make sure nothing's clipping in the Pro Tools system or the Logic system or whatever it is, and to monitor levels and, you know, all those kind of technical aspects of it. A producer's there to get the best performance out of the musician and, you know, make sure we've got all the right takes that we've got, make sure the vibe's there, make sure they feel at ease. And these days, those two roles are getting very blurred. You get a lot of people who engineer and produce, and I mean even at the top level of the game there's people who do that, and you know, I envy the guys that can do it well because it's a struggle, because you're sitting there listening to a vocal take, let's say, and you're trying to keep track of, okay, take 6 the word and was really good, take 8 this word was really good, but then you're also making sure that the microphone stand isn't falling over and that, you know, the Pro Tools system is not going to crash, and you know, so it's very left brain right brain stuff.
All right, Gareth, so you took us through your control room and now we're in your studio. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so the tracking room's a nice and vibey space. It's over 60 square metres, so we've got plenty of room for a whole band or a choir or whatever to be in here. The room's been purpose designed, so all the walls are isolated from the concrete slab, all the floors are isolated from the concrete slab, so there's no resonances or bass transfers or anything. All the walls are 32mm thick plasterboard gyprock with green glue in the middle, so we get really good bass response from them. The walls are all treated with these acoustic panels that we've got that can all be moved around, so we can make the room sound live, or we can make it sound dead, or we can have one end of the room really live and one end of the room really dead, or we've got lots of options when it comes to recording.
A lot of versatility here in your studio.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens when you come to a recording studio, is you've got options. You know, if you're at home, you may have one guitar or one recording space or whatever. Here we've got a number of different areas you can record in. We've got rehearsal rooms we can put guitar amps in if we want to. We've got open sheds where we can put drum kits. So we're quite flexible and have options when it comes to your project, you know.
All right, Gareth, so this is one of your rehearsal rooms.
Yeah, definitely. Here at the facility, not only do we have the studio, but we've got rehearsal rooms. Being sound engineers, the rehearsal rooms are all acoustically treated. We've got bass traps in the corners, carpet on the floors, nice air conditioning, great PAs. Good sized room for about a 5 to 6 piece band. Anyone bigger than that, we usually stick them over in the studio to rehearse.
Cool. All right, Gareth, so this is the stage area.
Yeah, so another area we have here at the studio is at the front of our rehearsal rooms. We use it for putting on all ages shows all the time. We get promoters who book the venue, have 5 or 6 bands on a Saturday night. We provide PA. They use all our rehearsal rooms as merch rooms.
Awesome. And so going through your facilities here, you're very versatile.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to be a real music community hub for guys, you know. We can go all the way from rehearsal to recording to release. We do photography, CD duplication, graphic design, websites, you know, everything a band could need so that they can kind of focus on what they do, which is play music.
So you can walk into Tall Poppy, go, I want an EP done, and we just worry about the music, and you guys do the artwork, the CD,
yep,
a bit of photography, the booklet.
Everything you guys need. That way in, you know, usually about a month's time, you can walk out here with the whole thing ready to go and go on tour.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that, if you do it by yourself, it could take a year, 2 years to get all that stuff together, but we have all the contacts and we can make it happen.
How do we find you guys?
Yeah, so you can just go to tallpoppyproductions.com. You can go to our Facebook page and become our friend, send us a message.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much, Gareth.
Thanks,
and hope to see you soon.
Terrific. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sweet. Well, it looks like Tall Poppy offers a pretty unique range of solutions for artists, from recording to promotion. You know, you guys have tracked there. What's your experience been with Tall Poppy?
Yeah, Tall Poppy's a great place to record at. We've done a few things over there. We do a lot of our practices with Tall Poppy.
Yep.
We record a lot of our demos over there as well. So when we're writing songs, we go over there to get an idea of how the songs are going to be arranged, and the sound quality we get in the room is fantastic. We don't get any bleed from the bands that are next to us. We get Azza in the other rooms to do some drums sometimes as well, so we can record the acoustic drums there. And it's really a really good venue, and the guys are great, and they helped us out a lot. And we've got a few gigs with them, and they do a lot of promotion for us.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I mean, it's really good when people in studios do a lot to help artists, and it's really as much about the music as just as
and they're very friendly. They gave us the tour of the studio. They showed us all the gear, and they're always happy about helping us out with sounds. And if it's really
and that's really something that's important when you're going to work with someone like that.
You need that in the music industry because it's very tough at the moment, and when you have people that help each other out, that's really what you want to feel.
Okay, great. There's still a lot more coming up, guys. After the break, Jake's going to be heading out to LOA's Music to find out all about audio interfaces. And a bit later on, I'm going to be catching up with Australian Concert Productions for some more live sound production tips. See you guys soon.